Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode, Breaking Bread with Roy. As always, and every day, I'm your host, Roy, here to do the same thing that we do every day, or at least every episode, and that is pray, read the Bible. Nothing complicated. Never be anything complicated. Just very simple, just reading the Bible. Yeah, I know. Why? Why televise it? Well, as I've explained, I've explained it many times before, but it's simply just my own journey. It's my way of comprehending it better. Um, this whole method is my way of getting through it, and it's intended more for me. And I always say this, that if one person is able to enjoy this and somebody gets something from it, then in that case it's well worth it. If that one person is me, it's still well worth it, because of the worst case scenario, I get from the beginning to the end of the Bible and then start all over. So that being said, pick up where we left off on chapter 20. And I think it's just time we're just going to have to get right into it. What do you think? All right, here we go. Numbers chapter 20. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in the Kadesh, and Miriam died there. I'm going to start that all over. Didn't come out right. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. And the people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. Now, to the best of my knowledge, the desert of Zin, Zin, it's the southern part of what is now Israel, from the best of my knowledge. So um, that's the general area. Verse 2. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people chode with Moses and spake, saying, Would God that we had died, when our brethren died before the Lord? And why have ye brought up the congregation of the Lord into this wilderness, that we and our cattle should die here? So it's very, very dry in this desert of Zin. And of course, everybody wants to start complaining now, which is pretty much what's been happening for just about going on 9 chapters now in the Numbers, right? All the complaining really started back in chapter 11. That's when it really got bad. All this time. And now they start complaining. Not now, back in 11. And wherefore have ye made us to go up into Egypt, to bring us into this evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or vines, or of pomegranates, neither is there any water to drink. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly into the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. They fell upon their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou thy assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. So it's pretty self-explanatory, right? They prayed. God told Moses to. And notice, there's something I noticed there. This is actually the first time I've really noticed it. Moses and Aaron both went. Moses and Aaron both prayed. Moses and Aaron both bowed, and their heads were to the ground. They bowed their heads, but this is what it says. Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly, right? And the Lord spake unto Moses. And it was very specific that he spoke unto Moses and not Aaron. So back down to verse 9. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, Thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us, how our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, we heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or thy vineyards. Neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn into the right nor to the left until we have passed thy borders. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with thy sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, We will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. So Edom is saying, No, you're not getting passage. Maybe we should just keep reading. It'll clear it all up. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from him. And the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came into Mount Or. The Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Or, by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered into his people, for they shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up into Mount Or, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. So, Aaron is, it looks to me, Aaron's being punished. Flat out. Let's go back and look at number 23. It says, And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in Mount Or by the coast of the land of, saying, Aaron shall be gathered into his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I given unto the children of Israel, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up into the mountain Or, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them unto Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into the Mount Or in the sight of the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel. Okay, we move on. Chapter 21. And when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, he fought against Israel, and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver his people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hormah, by the way of the Red Sea, to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Oof. Probably, not even probably, that's not going to end well. Spoke against God and Moses. I mean, this whole time, the Israelites, they've just kind of been, they've just been getting themselves in more and more trouble. At that point, you just kind of get to that point where you want to shake your head, I think. I can only imagine, even it was much for Moses as ever thought of the position that Moses was put into, and why. Why was he put into this? Why him? Well, it had to be somebody, and so it was Moses. Eleazar is going to be the high priest. So let's continue. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Tisk, tisk. Too cold, and we want them to stop. I can only imagine this times however many, almost maybe a million people. For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And the Lord sent, I mean, they're complaining about the bread too. I mean, God's been giving them something to eat, and they're complaining about what it is. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to end well. What happened? You complain, you get bit. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that we take away the serpents from us. Now you're sorry. Well, I'd say so. These serpents start biting people, and some died. So Moses prays for the people. Chapter 21, verse 8. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass, and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten, pardon me while I turn the page, a man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. Beheld, meaning if he just looks at the serpent of brass. And the children of Israel set forth and pitched in Oboth, and they journeyed from Oboth and pitched in Iji Abarim. So these are places they're pitching and then pitching the tents, or they're moving camp from one to the other, just kind of moving along. So this is time afterwards. The journey to Moab now is, I think this is where we're journey to Moab, and then going from Sihon. This is their journey continuing. And the children of Israel set forth and pitched in Oboth, and they journeyed from Oboth and pitched in Iji Abarim in the wilderness, which is before Moab, toward the sun rising. So the sun rises in the east, so they're going towards east, correct? So they're heading east at this point. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zared. From thence they removed and pitched in the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites. For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said that the book of the wars of the Lord what he did in the Red Sea, in the brooks of Arnon, and in the stream of the brooks that goeth down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. And from thence they went to Beer, that is the well thereof, whereof the Lord spake unto Moses, gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Israel sang the song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. If you think back, there is a song, Spring up, O well, within my soul. And I don't remember the lyrics right off the top of my head, but there was definitely a song that sings Spring Up, O well. Now we know where it came from. It was one of the old worship, in my opinion, an era of wonderful, wonderful worship songs, just pure worship done for simply worship, not to showcase musical talent or not for selling albums, but just worship for simple worship. I digress. The princess digged the well. The princes digged the well. The nobles of the people digged it by the direction of the lawgiver with their staves. And from the wilderness they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley, this is the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh towards Jeshimon. So this is just a few cities. All this really is just cities that they're passing along the way. And Israel sent messengers by the way, we're at verse 21 of chapter 21. And Israel sent messengers into Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be passed by the borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. So the people of Sihon did not want him to pass through either. So I don't know what it is precisely about all of these towns and all these cities, or however they want to be, the demographics, whatever they want to be called. They didn't want the Israelites passing through. I mean, it's a very large number. We're probably looking at 5 to 6 to 700,000 still. I don't know the numbers yet at this point, but at some point it was about 700,000. And they're not wanting to allow Israel to pass through. They're not wanting the Israelites to pass through. So he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. And that was the king of Sihon. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Arnon and into Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. So it took over. Israel took them all the cities. Israel won. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all of the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. So apparently, the king of Sihon had taken land from the former king of Moab. So this is now, it belongs to Israel. So what should have been belonged to Moab, ended up going to the hands of the village of Sihon, the king or the leader of Sihon, but because Israel just defeated, now it's theirs. And I have a feeling that Moab is going to want to take that land back, possibly. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. Wherefore they spake unto Proverbs, say, Come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone, of people of Chemosh. He hath given his sons that escaped and his daughters into captivity into Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished, even unto Dibon. And we have laid them waste unto Nophah, which reacheth unto Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that were there. So Israel's kind of at war, in a sense, with these villages. These villages are being under attack, and Israel is going to take them over one by one. So this looks like, to me, from what I'm starting to see, is they get to the southern part. They get to the southern part of Israel. When we go back, I'm trying to look at this city. I already kind of it escaped me. Okay, so we got before we even got into Moab and all of those little cities that they were passing by. So it looks like now this is the land that exists right there. Is they're having Israel conquer each one of these villages for the good of being called Israel. So now all of these are going to be eventually picked up and called Israel. Kind of makes me wonder, while I get into this story, the first thing, and I'm kind of off subject a little bit, but it starts to make me wonder if this conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine has anything to do with Israel coming to take over. Because Israel right now is taking over a bunch of towns, villages. So it makes me wonder if this is where the original Israel and Palestine, I'm going to say, disagreement comes from. I don't know, but it was just a thought. I could be way off, and it could absolutely have nothing to do with it. Let's continue. And when King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell the Israel came by the way of the spies, and he fought against Israel, and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name Hormah, which we did read already. I went backwards. My apologies. I wasn't paying attention that I... Give me a minute. I'm going to pause while I get track. 21. Verse 21 of 21. I think I realized I just said that. And Israel sent messengers into Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into thy fields, we will not touch the vineyards, drink the water. And Sihon would not suffer Israel. That's where we left off. So verse 24 says, And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Arnon to Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. So we read all through all of that. My apologies. I thought I had caught up, but let's continue on 33. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and the Og, the king of the Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to battle Edrei. And the Lord said unto Moses, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into the hand, and all his people and his land. And thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon. So they smote him and his sons and all his people, until there was none left him alive, and they possessed his land. So here we go. Israel's taking more land. And the children of we're getting there. I mean, we're just kind of rolling through all these villages of Israel that's soon to be Israel, the country of Israel. Chapter 22. We're going to keep reading along. No reason to stop right now while we're kind of rolling through the soon-to-be country of Israel. And the children of Israel sat forward and pitched in the plains of Moab in this side Jordan. On this side Jordan by Jericho. So on this side of the Jordan, I believe, was the Jordan by Jericho. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was sore afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, Now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, and the ox like the ox licketh up the grass of the fields. And Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at the time. He sent his messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we might smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom that blesseth is blessed, and he whom that curseth is cursed. So they think they're going to be able to stand up against Israel, not realizing that this is God's people. So they're going to get rolled over. I'm assuming they're going to get steamrolled just like everybody else has, because it is God's will. So, but let's just keep reading as if we don't know that God wins in the end every time. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand, and they came unto Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with him in Balaam. And God came unto Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Now, come now, curse me them, peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. So you can't curse them. We're not going to curse them. Balaam is praying, saying, God, please curse them. They're trying to take us over. And God's saying, no, you can't curse them because they're blessed. What is Balaam to do? And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went into Balak and said, Balaam refuseth to come with us. And Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said to him, Thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming with me. So he's trying to send people that are he's saying he sent more people to try to convince him. Trying to convince Balaam to come with him. He's like sending people that he's trying to send everybody he can. Say, you got to convince him. He's got to come with us. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God, to do less or more. Let's take a moment. And I mean, he's being tempted. And Balaam says this, and he says unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God, to do less or more. He's standing his ground. God spoke to him. God told him. Balaam is going to answer. That's some discipline, right? He's willing to stand there and just say no to the world. He's willing to say no to all the voices around him that are trying to talk him into it. There's going to be voices in our life. There's a bit of a lesson in that. There's probably more than just a lesson in that. There's going to be people in our life going to try to talk us out of God's will. Don't do it. Don't let it happen. I'll leave it at that. I pray you, now therefore I pray you, tarry ye also that this night, that I may know that the Lord will say unto me more. Verse 20. And God came up to Balaam at night, and said unto him, If the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But ye the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning, and saddled his ass, and went with the prince of Moab. Pardon me, I apologize for that. And God's anger was kindled because he went. The angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way, and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. Sounds like Balaam now wasn't as genuine originally, right? Now he's like trying to throw the donkey in the way to try to take the smite from the angels, and Balaam is looking like he doesn't want to go that way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the pass of the vineyards, a wall being on the side and a wall being on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrust herself into the wall, and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. And he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further, and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. So now almost literally, Balaam his foot is smashed. He's stuck between a wall and a wall in a really tight space. You can't turn. And when he saw his ass, and when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. So he keeps beating the donkey, right? Balaam just isn't having it. And the Lord opened thy mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? So now we have a donkey. Guys, we have a donkey talking to Balaam. I'm not making this up, guys. To be honest, this is actually the first time I heard a talking donkey. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass. Aha. God can do anything. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, Because thou hast mocked me. I would there were a sword in a hand, for now I would there were a sword in mine hand, for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden, ever since I was thine unto his day? Was I ever wont to do such unto thee? And he's like, haven't I always listened to you? Is basically what, haven't I always been your donkey? Haven't I always listened to you? Nay. And the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord. So originally, the donkey was acting out, and the donkey was doing all of these things, and Balaam is wanting to hit the donkey, and he just smites him 3 times. And now, all of a sudden, the donkey speaks out, and God uses the donkey to speak out. And what happens is, right now, this whole time, Balaam doesn't know that there was an angel, right? Doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's an angel in the way, and the donkey's just doing what it was supposed to do, right? God opens up Balaam's eyes. Now Balaam sees an angel. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me. So he's telling him, say, like, this is what happened. The ass saw me. Your way was wrong. The ass was trying to do, he saw me, and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee, and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou soughtest in the way against me. Now, therefore, if I displease thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went to the prince of Balak. So he's saying, you go back to the man, you speak to him, but you tell him exactly what I said. You know, it's funny because they say that mules are stubborn. I'm going to say Balaam is the stubborn one here. So the angel of the Lord says, go back, talk to the people, but you tell them exactly only what I say. So Balaam went with the prince of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam has come, he went out to meet him into the city, unto a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is the uttermost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able to indeed to promote thee to honor? And Balaam said to Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. So I'm here to speak for God, to speak the same words that God speaks to me. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came unto Herjath Huzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal, and thence he might be the uttermost part of the people. So we saw, actually here, we saw two amazing miracles. We saw the people wandering around at this point, and that was back in last chapter, where people wandering around, no water for their animals, no water for them. Moses strikes a rock twice, and abundance of water. So the water just flowed, and there was enough for everybody to drink. So God again was taking care of them, but they continue. You know, despite God taking care of them, somehow they're not able to see that God is taking care of them, but they just still want to complain. So, and all they keep on saying is, they keep bringing up, he brought us from the land of Israel that we should die. And they keep using that, and they use that over and over again to try to, I don't know. I think I see it as in they're trying to get under the skin of Moses. And so um, Aaron dies. God instructs Moses to strike the rock. I want to say rock. I want to say it's probably a good-sized rock in the middle of the desert. I don't imagine that there'll be any super small rocks. So he'd strike this rock and it flows, and maybe that's where an oasis comes from or something or other. Who knows if the water stayed there or not. And then the Balaam wants to go toe-to-toe with a mule, and a mule talks back to him. Yeah, guys, it happened. He talked back to a mule. Probably only time in history that it's ever going to happen. And no, Shrek doesn't count, guys. So who knows? Maybe that's how they got the idea. That's it. That's chapter 22, guys. We're going to leave it off there. So 20, 21, and 22. We'll continue on a little later. I went a little bit longer than what I would normally like to go, so between 30 and 40 minutes at the most. So, listen, take some time, read, pray, and seek time out with God and spend your time with Him. But thank you if you've gone through, and I'm grateful that hopefully you got something out of this. I know I have. First time hearing about a talking donkey. God bless you guys. See you on the next time.